So, dear students, yesterday we have studied different types of primary as well as secondary cells. Today we will study what are fuel cells. What are fuel cells? Fuel cells are the galvanic cells in which the chemical energy of fuels, namely energy of combustion, is converted into electrical energy. What are fuel cells? Fuel cells are the galvanic cells in which chemical energy of fuels, namely energy of combustion is converted into electrical energy. Fuel cells are the galvanic cells in which chemical energy of fuels or the energy of combustion of fuels is converted into electrical energy. So here the fuels generally used are number 1 hydrogen, number 2 methane, and number 3 methyl alcohol. What is its formula? CH3OH. So in fuel cells, the fuels generally used are, it may be hydrogen, it may be methane, or it may be methyl alcohol. So example for fuel cells, examples for fuel cells is number 1 hydrogen dash oxygen fuel cell. Hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is an example for fuel cells. So some notes regarding fuel cells. So fuel cells are highly economical or highly efficient. Cells are highly efficient. That is, efficiency is 70%. That means 70% of chemical energy is converted into electrical energy, whereas efficiency of thermal power plants. What are thermal power plants? These are the electricity generators using coal. In thermal power plants, coal is burned to produce heat. That heat is used to convert water into steam. That steam is used to rotate turbines. Thereby electricity is generated. So conversion of chemical energy of coal into electrical energy is very less. That is, efficiency of thermal power plant is 30%, whereas the efficiency of fuel cells is 70%. Therefore, we can get more electricity by using less amount of fuels. And this is one of the applications. The efficiency of fuel cells is very high when compared to our normal or usual thermal power plants. Number 3, fuel cells are pollution free. So during thermal power plants, we will get so many smokes and heat will be generated to the environment, whereas in case of fuel cells, they are pollution free. They do not produce pollutants. They do not produce pollutants. So this is about the definition of fuel cells. Fuel cells are the galvanic cells in which chemical energy of fuels is directly converted into electrical energy. Here, the generally fuels used are hydrogen, methane, methyl alcohol, etc. Coming to important notes, fuel cells are highly efficient, 70%, and they are pollution free. Now I will tell you another important question. Explain the construction of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. Explain the construction of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. So write down. This is very important. So in the examination, they will be asked the diagram of hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, or electrode reaction of fuel cells, or overall reaction of fuel cells. Write down. Hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is a galvanic cell in which the energy of combustion of hydrogen is converted into electrical energy. So in hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, it is a galvanic cell in which energy of combustion of hydrogen is converted into electrical energy. So how to represent the combustion of hydrogen? So the overall cell reaction is this one. So hydrogen gas undergo combustion with oxygen, forming 2H2OL. So this is the general combustion reaction in case of hydrogen oxygen fuel cells. So this is very important. What is the overall reaction in hydrogen oxygen fuel cell? In hydrogen oxygen fuel cell, combustion of hydrogen reacts with oxygen is nothing but combustion of hydrogen. Here the energy released during the combustion of hydrogen is converted into electrical energy. So what is the diagram of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell? So diagram is very simple. So this one is this one is one perforated electrode, and this one is another perforated electrode. So, here hydrogen gas is passed into the cell. From here oxygen gas is passed into the cell. So, these two are perforated electrodes. Perforated carbon electrodes. Perforated means they will have small holes. These electrodes will have small holes so that hydrogen and oxygen gas can enter into the electrodes. Therefore, they are called perforated, means having holes. Perforated carbon electrodes, and this one is so in between these two electrodes they see there is a concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide. So concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide. The electrode which is near the hydrogen gas is anode. This one is anode and this one is cathode. This one is cathode. So when hydrogen undergo combustion with oxygen, what is the product formed? Water will be liberated, and this is the place where water can go out. So this is water vapor. So this is the very simple representation of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. So these two are perforated carbon electrodes. That means they contain holes, and in this compartment hydrogen gas is passed into the cell. In this compartment oxygen gas is passed into the cell. They will mix up, they will enter into sodium hydroxide solution, concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide, and this one is anode and this one is cathode, and this is the place where water can comes out. So this is the schematic diagram of hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. So what is the description? Hydrogen and oxygen gas. So hydrogen and oxygen gases are bubbled through the perforated carbon electrodes into concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide. Hydrogen and oxygen gases are bubbled through perforated carbon electrodes into concentrated solution of sodium hydroxide. The electrodes are embedded with So the electrodes are incorporated with finely divided particles of platinum or palladium as catalyst to increase the rate of electrode reactions. So these are perforated carbon electrodes in which fine particles of platinum or palladium are incorporated as a catalyst to increase the rate of electrode reactions. So what are the electrode reactions? The electrode reactions are these are all very important. At anode. So what happens at anode? Oxidation of hydrogen takes place. So H2G plus 4OH minus gives 2H2O plus 4 electrons. So hydrogen undergo oxidation giving electrons. The OH minus ions which come from cathode reacts with hydrogen ions forming water. So at cathode what happens? O2G plus, so this one is 4H2O plus 2H2O plus 4 electrons. You will get 4OH minus. So all these are important reactions. At anode 2H2G hydrogen undergo oxidation giving hydrogen ions. These hydrogen ions combines with OH minus ions forming H2O. So what is the overall reaction? So overall reaction, this is also very important. So you will get the overall reaction, this one. So 4OH minus cancels with 4OH minus ions, 4 electrons gives 4 electrons. 2H2O cancels with 2H2O, you will get the remaining is 2H2O. So this is 2H2G plus O2G gives 2H2O liquid. So this is the overall reaction of fuel cell. And now what happens? The cell runs continuously as long as hydrogen and oxygen gases are continuously passed into the cell. Next, write down. The cell works continuously as long as the hydrogen and oxygen gases are passed into the cell. So this is about hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. This is very important. What is hydrogen oxygen fuel cell? Hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is a galvanic cell in which the combustion energy of hydrogen is directly converted into electrical energy. Here what is the overall combustion reaction? 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O liquid. This is very important. Then how hydrogen oxygen fuel cell is constructed? So this is a box. Here this box consists of two perforated carbon electrodes in which platinum or palladium in finely divided state are incorporated to increase the rate of electrode reactions. So hydrogen gas and oxygen gas are bubbled through the perforated electrodes into sodium hydroxide solution. What happens? Oxidation takes place at hydrogen electrode, reduction takes place at oxygen electrode. So as a result, these reactions takes place. So 2H2 plus 4OH minus ions comes from the cathode, gives 2H2O plus 4. So this is the overall reaction, and the cell runs as long as hydrogen and oxygen are continuously passed into the cell. So this is about the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. This is very important from your examination point of view. What is corrosion? Give examples. What is corrosion? Give examples. What is corrosion? When iron is exposed to moist air, it corrodes. So when iron peels off in the form of iron oxide. Similarly, when silver is exposed to moist air, it loses its shining. On the other hand, when water drops or fall on the surface of brass or bronze, you will find a green coating on the surface of brass or bronze or copper. Similarly, when mercury is exposed to moist air, what happens? It loses its shining and it will not run as fast as possible when it is in pure state. That is known as tailing of mercury. These are all the effects of corrosion. Then what is corrosion? Gradual destruction of the metals by the action of constituents of the environment, namely water vapor, oxygen, carbon dioxide on metals is known as corrosion. The gradual destruction of metals. So write down the definition. The gradual destruction of the metals by the action of the constituents of the environment. What are the constituents of environment? Namely water vapor, oxygen, carbon dioxide, etc. are the constituents of environment by the action of on them is called corrosion. The gradual destruction of the metals by the action of constituents of the environment, namely water vapor, oxygen, carbon dioxide on them means metals, is known as corrosion. Examples for corrosion: number 1, rusting of iron. Number 2, tarnishing of silver. Tarnishing of silver means silver becomes dull after some time. That is known as tarnishing of silver. Number 3, formation of green coating on the surface of brass, bronze and copper, etc. is an example for corrosion. And fourth one, tailing of mercury. So these are all the examples of corrosion. So coming to some notes, all metals undergo corrosion except gold, platinum, Pt and palladium, Pd. So all metals undergo corrosion. So when all metals are exposed to moist air, they undergo corrosion. Why they undergo corrosion? They react either with oxygen or with water vapor or with carbon dioxide of the environment and converted into compounds of the metal. So these compounds peel off from the surface of the metal. So this is what is known as corrosion. So but metals like gold, platinum, palladium does not react with the constituents of the environment. Therefore they do not undergo corrosion. So this is first point. Second point, corrosion causes lot of damages. So in each year the corrosion of metal causes lot of damages, lot of losses to the countries. So iron undergo corrosion, all metals undergo corrosion. So as a result we will face lot of losses, lot of damages. Corrosion causes lot of damages to bridges, buildings, ships, etc. which are made of iron. So now let us know what is rust. Give its chemical composition. So what is rust? When iron is exposed to moist air, it undergoes corrosion forming hydrated ferric oxide, which is called rust. So hydrated ferric oxide is called rust. Hydrated ferric oxide is called rust. So its chemical composition is Fe2O3 XH2O. X means any number. Hydrated ferric oxide is called rust. Hydrated ferric oxide is called rust and its composition is Fe2O3 XH2O. Corrosion of iron is an electrochemical phenomena. Corrosion of iron is an electrochemical phenomena. Explain. Explain. Corrosion of iron is an electrochemical phenomena explained, or corrosion, or it may be rusting, or corrosion of iron is an electrochemical phenomena explained. So write down, when iron is exposed to moist air, when iron is exposed to moist air, comma, it undergoes corrosion or rusting. Corrosion or rusting. Rusting of iron is the mechanism of rusting involves the transfer of electrons. The mechanism of rusting involves the transfer of electrons. So stop. Hence, it is an electrochemical phenomena. It is an electrochemical phenomena. So, when iron is exposed to moist air, what happens? It undergoes rusting or corrosion. So, during rusting or corrosion of iron, there is transfer of electrons from one place to another place. Therefore, it is an electrochemical phenomena. How electrons transfer takes place? At one place of iron, it undergo oxidation. At another place of iron, it undergo reduction. During oxidation, electrons will be released. During reduction, electrons will be absorbed. Therefore, electrons transfer from one place of iron to another place of iron, and hence it is an electrochemical phenomena. So, is an electrochemical phenomena, and it takes place as follows. It takes place as follows. So, how it takes place? Say for example, this is a piece of iron. This is iron piece. So, at some part of iron, what happens? Oxidation takes place. What is oxidation? Fe gives Fe2 plus 2 electrons. So, therefore, this spot is known as anodic spot. Anodic spot. So, here oxidation takes place. At some part of the iron, what happens? Oxidation takes place. So, iron atoms are converted into iron ions and converted into iron ions and loses electrons. So, write down, at some part of the iron, comma, it undergoes oxidation, and the spot is called anodic spot. The anodic reaction is Anodic reaction is Fe gives Fe2 plus 2 electrons. So I will write you 2Fe gives 2Fe2 plus 4 electrons. So these liberated electrons move from one place to another place of the same iron, moves along the metal. So at another place it reduces the atmospheric oxygen, in presence of hydrogen ions, forming 2H2O. It reduces the atmospheric ions. So this spot is known as anodic spot. This spot is known as cathodic spot. Cathodic spot, it is positive. So what happens? At one spot of the iron undergo oxidation. So what is oxidation? Losing of electron is called oxidation. Iron atoms are converted into iron ions and electrons will be released. These liberated electrons move along the metal to the other spot where it reduces the atmospheric oxygen in presence of hydrogen ions, forming water. Therefore, this spot is known as cathodic spot. So this spot becomes anodic spot and this spot becomes cathodic spot. So write down the liberated electrons move along the metal to the other spot where it reduces the atmospheric oxygen in presence of hydrogen ions to form water. Stop. This spot is called the cathodic spot. So the cathodic reaction is, so O2G plus 4 H plus ions plus 4 electrons gives 2H2OL. So then this is the anodic reaction and this one is cathodic reaction. What is the overall reaction? Adding anodic reaction and cathodic reaction. So 2Fe plus O2G plus 4H plus gives Fe2 plus 2H2OL. Then the Fe2 plus ions. So Fe2 plus ions are formed during oxidation. Fe2 plus ions are oxidized into Fe3 plus ions, and finally converted into Fe2O3X H2O. Finally convert into Fe2O3XH2O, which is called rust, So Fe2 plus ions are converted into Fe3 plus ions. These Fe3 plus ions reacts with oxygen and water vapor in the atmosphere, convert into Fe2O3XH2O, which is called rust. So Fe2O3XH2O, which is called rust. What is rust? That is hydrated ferric oxide, which is called rust. And since iron atoms are converted into compounds of iron, namely ferric oxide, this ferric oxide peels off from the surface of iron. As a result, the size of the iron goes on decreasing, and this is what is known as corrosion. So corrosion or rusting of iron is an electrochemical phenomena because the mechanism of rusting of iron involves the transfer of electron from one spot to another spot. Therefore, it is an electrochemical phenomena. At one spot, iron undergoes oxidation forming ferrous ions. These ferrous ions are converted into ferric ions by the atmospheric oxygen, and then these ferric ions combine with oxygen and water vapor, forming hydrated ferric oxide, which is called rust, which peels off from the surface of iron. So the liberated electrons moves to another part of iron where it reduces the atmospheric oxygen in presence of hydrogen ions which are present in water, converting into water. Oxygen undergoes reduction in presence of hydrogen, forming water. So this is what happens at anodic spot, and this is what happens at cathodic spot. So this is how we can explain rusting of iron or corrosion of iron is an electrochemical phenomena. What are the methods used to prevent corrosion of metals? So how we can prevent the corrosion of metals? So corrosion of metals can be prevented. Corrosion of metals can be prevented by, number one, surface coating or barrier protection. Surface coating, it is also called as barrier protection. Surface coating or barrier protection. Number two, sacrificial coating, sacrificial protection, and third one is cathodic protection. So these are the three major methods used to prevent corrosion: surface coating or barrier protection, sacrificial protection, and cathodic protection. So first we will know what is surface coating. Surface coating or barrier protection. So corrosion of metals can be prevented. Corrosion of metals can be prevented by coating the surface of metals by painting. Number 2, coating by painting by oils or grease. By coating the surface of metals by paints or by oils or by grease, we can prevent the exposure of the metal surface to the atmospheric constituents. So this is one of the method of preventing the metals from corrosion, that is surface coating. Number 2, sacrificial protection. Sacrificial protection. So what is sacrificial protection? For example, suppose this is a piece of iron. If I want to prevent this piece of iron from rusting, what we will do? We can prevent the rusting of iron by coating a thin layer of another metal which is more reactive than iron. Which is more reactive than iron means whose electrode potential is less. So this is what is, so this metal the metal which is coated undergo oxidation and it undergo rusting. This metal undergo reduction, thereby the metal can be prevented. Say for example this one is iron and suppose this is coated with zinc. So zinc electrode potential is minus 0.76, iron is plus 0.34 volt. So this is E0 value of iron, this is E0 value of zinc. So if the E0 value is less, it is more active and this one is less active. So if a more active metal, if a thin layer of more active metal like zinc or tin is coated on the surface of iron, this iron will be protected from rusting. This is known as sacrificial coating. So this metal which is coated undergo oxidation, preventing the rusting of iron. This is what is known as sacrificial protection. So the rusting of, the corrosion of metals can be prevented by coating a thin layer of other metals, which are more active in bracket less E0 values. First up, this is called sacrificial protection. This is called sacrificial protection. Why it is called sacrificial protection? So the coated metal undergo corrosion, preventing the corrosion of the less active metal. For example, if iron is coated with zinc, it is called galvanization. So coating of any metal with zinc is known as galvanization. So coating of iron with zinc is called galvanization. The iron so obtained is called Gi iron, which is called galvanized iron. Galvanized iron. So you might have heard GI pipes. GI pipe means iron pipes which are coated with zinc are called galvanized iron. The process is known as galvanization. Coating any metal with zinc is known as galvanization. If iron is coated with zinc, it is called galvanized iron. Here iron is protected from corrosion and zinc undergo corrosion because its electrode potential is less and this undergo oxidation easily. So next line, coating of any metal with zinc is called galvanization. So this is also very important. What is galvanization? Coating of any metal with zinc is called galvanization. The iron coated with zinc. The iron coated with zinc is called galvanized iron. Galvanized iron, bracket ali GI, galvanized iron GI. So another example, we can coat tin on the surface of brass or bronze, that is known as the brass or bronze can be prevented, brass or bronze can be prevented from corrosion, by coating with tin, SN. So ಇತ್ತಾಳಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಲಾಯಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Brass or bronze can be prevented from coating by coating with corrosion by coating with tin. It is called SN. So this is what is known as sacrificial protection. By we can prevent the corrosion of metals by coating the surface of metals with other metals which are more active or less reduction electrode potential. Thereby the metal will be prevented from rusting. This is known as sacrificial protection. And then lastly, cathodic protection. So third method is cathodic protection. So what is cathodic protection? Say for example, we have iron pipes under the ground. So for the supply of water, what we will do? We will use iron pipes. These are iron pipes. So these iron pipes undergo corrosion. So to prevent these iron pipes from corrosion, what we will do? We connect these iron pipes with some magnesium or zinc at some places. So here E0 values of magnesium or zinc is negative and E0 value of iron is positive. So this is more active and undergo oxidation. So this is less active, undergo reduction and prevented from rusting. So what happens? Iron pipes which are under the ground are connected with a piece of more active metals like magnesium or zinc. What happens? Since magnesium or zinc have less E0 values, undergo oxidation easily, and this becomes anode and iron becomes cathode. So since reduction takes place at iron pipe, this becomes cathode. So the metal which undergo oxidation undergoes corrosion, and the metal which undergo reduction does not undergo corrosion. So by connecting magnesium or zinc with iron, iron becomes cathode and magnesium or zinc becomes anode. So by doing this, we can protect this cathode. This is called cathodic protection. So iron is prevented from rusting by connecting it with more active metals like zinc or magnesium, whose electrode potential is less. So write down cathodic protection. Iron can be prevented by rusting by connecting it with more active metals like magnesium or zinc. So here oxidation takes place. Here magnesium or zinc becomes anode, where oxidation takes place, and iron becomes cathode, where reduction takes place. So therefore anode becomes corroded when compared to cathode. So thereby cathode is prevented. So cathode is protected. So hence cathode is protected from corrosion. Cathode is protected from corrosion. So these are the three methods which are used to prevent corrosion. One is surface coating or barrier protection. Number two, sacrificial protection. Number three, cathodic protection. By painting, surface coating can be done by painting or by coating with oils, grease, etc. Sacrificial protection, so by coating thin layer of other metals which are more active than the given metal or whose electrode potential is less than the given metal. So the coated metals undergo rusting, preventing the corrosion of the coated metal. So in cathodic protection, other metals which are more active or less electrode potentials are connected to the metal to be protected. What happens? The connected metal undergo oxidation and becomes anode, and the metal which is connected becomes cathode. Thereby anode undergoes oxidation and cathode undergo reduction. As a result, the cathode is protected from corrosion.